I never imagined that a simple trip to a bookstore would change my life forever. It was a crisp autumn day 30 years ago when I reached for a book, only to find another hand reaching for it at the same time. That hand belonged to Carmela, a woman whose smile was as warm as the season was cool. What started as a casual conversation about literature soon turned into something more profound. We shared coffee, took long walks, and found comfort in each other's presence. It felt as though the universe had orchestrated our meeting, guiding us toward one another. Our connection deepened, and a few years later, we exchanged vows, ready to embark on a lifelong journey together. Our wedding was beautiful, intimate, and filled with the promise of a lifetime of love and happiness. I remember looking into Carmela's eyes that day, convinced that nothing could ever break us apart. I secured a job at a financial firm, and not long after, Carmela joined the same company. Our daily routines were intertwined, commuting together, working under the same roof. While I worked in field operations, she thrived in marketing, climbing the corporate ladder with impressive speed. Though I sometimes felt left behind, I ignored those thoughts, choosing instead to celebrate her success. Over the years, we built a life filled with cherished memories: holidays, anniversaries, our first home, and then the arrival of our daughter. Life blessed us with a daughter, now 22 and studying business. As our 25th anniversary approached, I planned to leave my job and start a consulting firm with her. It was a dream I had nurtured for years, saving diligently to provide her with a strong foundation. I imagined building something meaningful with her, passing down the knowledge and experience I had gained over the years. Carmela's job often took her on business trips. At first, I accompanied her, but I quickly realized that I didn't fit in with the polished marketing crowd. Over time, I stopped going, and she went on 5 trips without me. With each return, she seemed distant, exhausted, and withdrawn. I sensed something was wrong but never invaded her privacy by checking her phone or emails. I told myself that marriages go through phases, that perhaps she was just stressed with work, but deep down, I knew something had shifted. One day, my daughter, noticing Carmela's behavior, suggested we take a vacation to reconnect. I planned a trip to the Caribbean, hoping to reignite the spark in our marriage. Carmela agreed, though her enthusiasm was lacking. I reassured myself that the trip would help mend whatever had changed between us. I pictured us walking hand in hand on the beach, reliving the love we once had. On the beach, under the golden sun, Carmela looked as beautiful as ever, but her mind seemed elsewhere. One evening, I took her for a walk, hoping to talk, but she simply held my hand in silence. I convinced myself that time would heal whatever was troubling her. I tried to make her laugh, remind her of the old times, but her responses were lukewarm, distant. The next afternoon, we encountered 2 locals offering massages. Thinking it would help us relax, I suggested we accept, and Carmela agreed. An hour later, feeling rejuvenated, I invited her for another walk, but she declined, saying she needed to rest. She insisted I go alone and return before dinner. As I strolled the shore, an uneasy feeling crept over me. Something felt wrong. Following my instincts, I returned to our hotel room earlier than planned. As I approached, muffled sounds reached my ears, sounds that shattered my reality. Heart pounding, I checked the room number, hoping I was mistaken. I wasn't. I pushed the door open and was met with a sight that stole the air from my lungs. Carmela was with 3 men, 2 of them the masseurs from earlier. My vision blurred, my body gave way, and darkness consumed me. I woke up 2 hours later, a doctor at my side, Carmela nearby. For a fleeting moment, I wished it had all been a nightmare. The doctor assured me I had fainted from shock and left. As I struggled to gather my thoughts, Carmela spoke words that solidified my broken heart. Our marriage has run its course. It's time for us to go our separate ways. I feel like our relationship is holding me back, and I can be more successful without you. Speechless, I turned to the window, unable to look at the woman I had loved for decades. Without another word, she packed her bags and left. I remained, wandering the sandy shore each evening, beer in hand, drowning in sorrow. When I returned home, our house felt emptier than ever. On our bed lay an envelope, inside divorce papers and a short letter. I'm sorry. I wish you well. Our divorce was swift. Carmela sought nothing from me, and I didn't fight. Our daughter was devastated but unaware of the truth. I chose not to burden her with the knowledge of her mother's betrayal. She remained in touch with Carmela, while I erased her from my life. Determined to rebuild, I quit my job and poured my energy into my consulting firm. I started hitting the gym, eating right, and prioritizing my well-being. Slowly but surely, I transformed. 3 years later, my business flourished, my daughter joined me, and I had achieved a lifelong dream, owning a custom-built 1969 Ford Mustang. More than that, I was in the best shape of my life. On my 56th birthday, as my daughter and I dined together, she mentioned Carmela. I tried to change the subject, but she persisted. She revealed that she knew about what had happened in the Caribbean and confessed that she would have exposed Carmela if she were in my place. I only smiled. Curious, she asked why I hadn't sought revenge. I played a video on my phone. Carmela defeated, lamenting, "Why does everyone I sleep with leave me?" My daughter listened in silence. I explained, "Your mother chased success, thinking it meant power and love. But after failed relationships, she realized that success isn't measured in money or status. It's about who stands beside you when everything falls apart." She asked, "Did she ever come back?" I nodded. Yes. But when she knocked on my door, I shut her down. The day she broke our vows, she was no longer on my level. That night, as I lay beside my loving wife, Nancy, I reflected on the journey that had led me here. I had hit rock bottom, but I had risen. I could have sought vengeance, but true victory was in moving forward. Carmela had faded into the past, while I built a legacy that would stand the test of time.